Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Horror Realm. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're doing another indie horror spotlight. Today, I have with us, he is the screenplay writer for a short film that I had the pleasure to see and actually did a review on it. And it's called Grandma's Cookies. I have with us Brantley Brown. Brantley, welcome to the Horror Realm.
Hey, glad to be here. How's it going?
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, man. Listen, I'm a huge fan of Grandma Cookies. I just did a review on it this past Sunday. So definitely, if you haven't seen that, and also, if you haven't seen my interview with the director, Michael, definitely check that out as well.
Yep.
But listen, tell everybody who hasn't seen the movie like I have, tell them a little bit about Grandma Cookies.
All right, gladly. Okay, so Grandma's Cookies. It is a Christmas tale. It's a heartwarming little film about a little boy named Billy spending Christmas Eve with his Grandma Nettie. And he is, like most little kids, he's excited because it's Christmas Eve, Santa's coming, and he also wants to stay up late because, everybody knows when you're a kid, it's in the back of your head, it's like, I wonder if I stay up late, if I can see Santa. So he thinks the perfect way to do this is, of course, let's stay up with Grandma Nettie and help her bake cookies for Santa, but he's told that he's not allowed to do it. But being a little kid, one way or the other, he ends up out of the bed and into the kitchen, and he discovers something a little dark and sinister about Grandma's special cookies for Santa.
And that's a nice way of saying it, Brantley. Now, listen, you were the screenplay writer. What gave you the idea for this story?
Well, I originally came up with the concept for Grandma's Cookies in the winter of 2018. Michael and I had done a short film together, Michael Clone, called Soundbite. And it was doing fairly well. It was getting a lot of great critical reception. And it was really doing well on YouTube. It seemed to be getting a decent amount of views, at least more than we were even hoping for, considering it was our first and it's a very, very short film. But we were feeling really energized by that. And we thought, well, we need to do something else. Strike while the iron's hot. And it's getting close to Christmas, and I'm sitting there, and I'm racking my brain. What am I going to write about? What am I going to write about? But what I'm doing, because like a lot of people during the holidays, you snack. And what do you snack on? You snack on the baked goods and stuff like that. So I am making some of those Toll House breakaway cookies. But I'm not a big fan of the chocolate chip. Not that I hate it. No,
really?
Anybody who's like the milk chocolate chip fan.
That's me.
But
That's me.
I personally like white chocolate.
Okay.
So I got the one that had the white chocolate morsels on it. And as I was sitting there looking at the dough as I'm breaking it, and I'm like, the morsels kind of look like teeth. Why my brain went there? I guess because I'm a horror person, but it just crossed my mind, and then I got an idea. I was like, oh, wait a minute. And so I started jotting down notes. So as soon as I finished baking the cookies, I sat down and I just started writing this story. And that's literally how I got the idea for it. It was because I looked at white chocolate chips on some Toll House cookies and just thought, that looks like someone's teeth in the cookies.
That's a weird way to look at it. I've never thought of that, Brantley. And I'm looking at my cookies. I do like the white chocolate ones too. I do like the white chocolate. There's something about warm cookies that are fucking amazing. It's like an orgasm in your mouth.
Some of my earliest memories are tied to homemade chocolate chip cookies. I mean, I'm sure, just like anybody else, I'll grab a pack of pre-made ones from the store. But you're right. There's nothing like that fresh baked and that gooey-ness about the cookie. And you have to eat it when it's the right temperature, when it still breaks apart and the chocolate's all melty
And there's nothing wrong with burning the roof of your mouth too while you're eating them. I mean, that's an important part of it.
There's three things that I have burnt my mouth on as far as food: cookies, fresh baked cookies, pizza rolls, or lava rockets.
Yes.
and also pizza.
Yes.
more often than not, I burnt my mouth on Pizza Hut pizza because we used to, more than delivery, we would just go to our local Pizza Hut when I was a kid. And, they'd bring out that pan and it's hot,
Mm-hmm.
fresh cooked. And you couldn't wait to dig into it. And as a kid, you're not thinking, I should wait till this cool down. You go to take that first bite of pizza out of that cast iron pan. Oh, it kills your taste buds. You can't taste the rest of the meal. But
Done.
yeah.
Done.
Yep.
Now, Brantley, how important is it as a screenplay writer to share the same vision as your director when it comes to making the film?
So I guess it's a case by case perspective. Overall, I feel like a film is not just any one part. The script is as important as the director's vision or as the actor's interpretation. So overall, I think that it's important that you at least share the same broad vision.
Mm-hmm.
At least whatever the core concept of your film is, I do think it's important that you as a writer and the director at least agree on that element. As long as you know the main direction that the film is heading in, I think you're good. Because it's always going to happen that when a film goes from script to screen, changes are going to be made. You have to sometimes fly by, the seat of your pants and make last minute split decisions. And, as a writer, I'm fine with it because I understand it's part of the beast,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, I'm not one of those writers. Okay. Full disclosures. Yeah, sometimes it hurts a little bit. Like when you write something and you're just like, oh, I just love that line. And it's like, it feels like somebody just stabbed you in the heart when they have to cut the line. But that's only like a momentary moment because like with Grandma's Cookies, there's a section that due to time constraints, they had to cut. And when they told me they were going to have to cut it, I was like, oh no. Oh, it's going to affect the overall pace of the film. But then I saw the final cut of the film, and I was like, I don't even miss it. So you just you have to remember to trust in the whole process of making a movie. So yes, I do think it's important that you share at least a common core vision, but I do think you have to allow for room for creative growth as it moves from my hands as a writer to the director's.
Now, as a screenplay writer, I don't know if this is true or not, but do you think about the budget? I mean, concerns, or is that the director's responsibility? Like, do you ever write something in there and Michael's like, "Yo, I can't, we can't fit this in the budget,"
Now, I do typically write the budget.
Okay.
I try to keep it in mind because, like I said, I write, I write scripts that I just want to see made. And sometimes I know that the best way to make a film made is to write it so that they can make it for cheap.
Yeah.
And so I've got used to doing that because what I have figured can happen is, as long as you have a compelling enough story to catch somebody's attention to want to make it, if you end up getting lucky enough to get more money, you can always add to that script. But it's a lot harder to build a script that is overflowing with extravagant, expensive effects and overall scenes and things like that are going to be really expensive to shoot. If you make that an integral part of your script starting out, it's going to hurt a lot more to try and figure it out how to do it cheap. So with me, I think it's just easier to write the budget, write with a budget in mind, figure out how to do it with less. I mean, if you get lucky, you can make it more. But yeah, I think that's why Michael likes working with me. I mean, we become good friends. But yeah, I'm really, really good. All we have to do is come up with a concept of a story, and then I have to figure out how to write it super cheap. And sometimes, once it gets to Michael, he'll freak out. Grandma's Cookies, for
Mhm.
example. I remember he was just really worried about how we were going to make the cookies. You know,
Mhm.
it was a
Yeah.
big concern. I was like, well, if that's the most worrisome thing I wrote into the script, it's not too bad.
Now, you and I talked a little bit before the interview, and I was telling you, I did a review and I love the movie, but one thing I said, I, it would have been, I would give it a 5 out of 5. But the reason I give it a 4 out of 5 was because I wish it was a full length feature. I wish there was more time, you know, telling a little bit more backstory about Grandma and some other characters like Santa. I wish there was more time spent on the characters. Now, with this movie, was this like a proof of concept, or was this always meant to just be a short film?
So when I first wrote the script for the short film, we had sort of this grander vision in mind. We had started a very low budget production entity called Horror House Media. And what our goal was at several points throughout the year, write and film different short horror films that would at some point be made apparent that they all connected to one another. It was almost like creating like a Marvel universe, but with short horror
Mm-hmm.
films. Um, so Grandma's Cookies was originally written to be part of a larger anthology. Just as soundbite, our first short film was. We have another one, Stalk, Love Me Not, Bag of Tricks. Those are other short films that we've done prior to Grandma's Cookies. But originally, we wanted them all to be interconnected. They all happened like in the same town, and that some of the characters in one of the shorts shows up in another character a little bit before that one shows up. But much like Hollywood tends to work, the best laid plans don't always pan out. And so it's now a separate entity. Originally, I wouldn't say we filmed it with the idea to be a proof of concept. We just knew we really wanted to film it. We thought it had a charming quality because even though it's a horror short, because it involves the children and it sort of relies on that whimsical side of Christmas, it somehow still manages to be a little bit charming. I almost call it like gateway horror. Santa's frightening in it, and no doubt, Grandma Nettie is off her rocker, horrifying, crazy,
Yeah.
you know. But because it's pretty much through the point of the view of Billy, I think it's got an endearing essence to it, if that makes sense at all. Um, and so once we had it done, then we started talking about, I bet this would make a good feature film. In Sandy Stencil, she was the director of photography on the film. She's been trying to get me to at least write a treatment. She's like, do a 10-page treatment, something that you'll have in your back pocket. So if anybody wants to do it, and I'll probably end up doing that. I just haven't done it yet. I've been trying to finish another new feature script that's just one of my passion projects that I had started a few months ago. So once I probably knock that script out, I'll sit down and I'll hammer out the treatment for Grandma's Cookies. But yeah, didn't originally start off as a proof of concept. It was just something that grew as it went along. During filming, I know Michael's biggest thing was, let's just film it. He was getting frustrated, because it was one of those things where on set, just it didn't always seem like it was going perfectly, and even leading in the weeks leading up to it. But sometimes I think that filmmakers work best under stress. It's almost like we have something extra to prove. Because I think when things go too easy, you kind of let your guard down. But when things are when you're having to work for it, it's like I'm going to do this. Come hell or high water, I'm doing this.
Because I say it all the time. It seems like indie filmmakers, especially, are like stress junkies. Like,
yeah,
you guys, like, you love the stress. I mean, that's what fuels you and keeps you motivated.
But stress leads to creativity. we did a film called Bag of Tricks right after the pandemic had started. And I wrote that one to have like eyeballs, and there was supposed to be a burlap sack full of like human body parts and things like that. And remember, we're super low budget.
Yeah.
And already we have limited resources because a lot of places are shut down because of COVID. But we still decided to all congregate in South Pasadena and knock out this short film. And I remember thinking, oh God, how am I going to do this? I wrote myself into a corner. I've got to have eyeballs and stuff like that. But you know, I started looking around the house, and I'm pretty proud of myself. I, the writer, started becoming a prop master. I made eyeballs and things like that out of aluminum foil, paint, toilet paper, a little bit of glue. But it ended up, it really what it was. It's an eyeball that started off with a base of aluminum foil, and I built around it and made it look
Nice.
But you're right. We're stress junkies. If it challenges us, we live for it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I'm like, I can't fucking do it. Like, I like a little bit of stress, right? I like a little bit of stress, but I don't want to say chaos because it's not chaos, but it's a little, because I mean, I've been on one film set I've said before, and I was just like, holy shit, is this what a movie set looks like? And like, I was watching the filmmaker, and he was just, I mean, listen, the whole thing was on fire, pretty much. And like, and he is just fucking like, it's just boom, 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 boom. I'm like, holy shit, how easy he was able to handle under stress and just rearrange everything.
Yeah. Well, and you know, filmmaking, that word chaos, I think that's why we like it. Because filmmaking is controlled chaos to me.
Mm-hmm.
So things can go wrong, and they often will go wrong. And we go into each film project knowing that things are probably going to go wrong. But at least there is some semblance of control there. We have a call sheet. We have a script breakdown. We have the script. It's all laid out and mapped out for us. We know what we have to film and what days we're going to do it. But even in the confines of that safety net of structure, chaos inevitably ensues. So it is chaotic because you have to, directors especially, as well as whatever crew you're lucky enough to have on each film. You know, everybody has to be able to, when the bomb goes off, scramble and reconfigure.
Yep.
You know, it's exciting, it's exhilarating, it's fucking stressful. it's all of those.
Exhausting.
Yeah,
it sounds exhausting.
And usually long days. I've worked on the third short film that Michael and I did called Love Me Not. We filmed that. Looking back, I'm like, we were nuts, but we were driven to prove ourselves. We wanted to do something better than the last short film we did before. We were really trying to show what we could do. And it was the longest, most ambitious short film we did. Whereas the first two short films we ever made were 4 minutes each. This one was almost 15 minutes. And we were only allocated 1 day to film it. And I know that doesn't sound like it's that bad. Oh, 15 pages? That's not much. 1 day? Bullcrap. We were on that set filming that shit. And I shouldn't say shit because it's a good, I love that film. But in the moment, we were filming for 14 hours straight with a lunch break.
Shit.
We had a lunch break. 14 hours. And to save cost of getting extra actors, myself, my ex-boyfriend who was with me at the time, and our friends, we all enlisted ourselves to be the dead bodies that this character has around her table. And, and I don't know if anybody's ever told you, it is harder to play dead than to play alive. It really is. And of course, I'm going for authenticity. I'm the only dead person on that film who didn't close their eyes. Because in all the horror movies, I'm like, that's a cop out if I've ever seen it. Most of the time, when people die, those horrible, gruesome, ugly deaths, they don't peacefully close their eyes and drift off into slumberland. They, if somebody surprises you, that's usually the way your eyes are going to be. They're going to be open.
Brantley, and as my day job, I'm a mortician, so I'm an expert of dead people.
Hey.
Majority of people do not die with their eyes closed. Majority of people die with their eyes wide the fuck open.
Yep.
And guess what? I hate when I see in movies where people just, let me go ahead and... No.
Mm-hmm.
You try to close someone's eyes, right back open. That's why morticians use things called eye caps, which are plastic contacts with little prongs on them to keep a dead person's eyes closed.
Hey, I didn't know that.
Just educate everyone. Yes, you cannot close someone's eyes.
Their eyes don't close. And so we start that 14-hour day with me sitting like not knowing we're going to have a 14-hour day. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So by about hour 10, we're redoing the shot. They're getting it from a different angle, going all around the table. And my eyes are starting finally to dry out. And that time, Michael decided to get a close-up of my face. And I'm holding it, and I couldn't help it. I had to blink. And he's tired, everybody's tired, but then all of a sudden you hear, can we do that again? Maybe without the dead guy blinking in the shot? And I am just thinking, I have had these eyes open for 10 hours. But it was all good fun. It was. I think it was worth it. That was one of those film sets where by the time we finished filming it, everybody, the actors, the producer, Michael, the camera people, the sound, we all looked at each other and we go, we just did something pretty awesome. And, so I can jokingly complain about the long hours and things like that, but really, I couldn't see myself doing anything else. When I'm not doing a movie, not writing a movie, not on a set, it's horrible. Like, I don't feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose on this earth unless I am doing something creative. And so, I love every bit of filmmaking, from the writing process, and then I love to just hang there on a set and watch how they do it.
See, and listen, I'm in total agreement with you. Even like when it comes to my YouTube channel, I fucking love this, right? I bitch and complain. If you know me in my personal life, I'm constantly bitching and complaining like, I got 2 fucking interviews tonight. I'd rather be fucking playing Madden right now, or fucking taking a nap, or having some sex, or anything, right? And I say it all the time. But when I have like gaps of days where I don't do anything, content or stuff, I'm like, fuck. I start getting antsy. Like, damn, I need to do something.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's exactly how it is. And I've actually kind of found that so far, everyone tells me that it's just me psyching myself out, but I'm also worried that if I don't utilize my brain, even just at least the writer part of my brain, that I'll lose it. Because right now, I've been incredibly fortunate that my brain just is constantly churning out ideas. I'm doing something else, and something, like I said, making cookies, and I get an idea for a film. I have endless ideas. I have right now too many ideas and not enough time to write all of the scripts. But I fear that if I take a break and I don't write for an extended period of time, that I'll lose it. Because it's something I'm grateful for. I don't know why some people like me have brains and can sit there. Well, everyone has a brain. I didn't mean it to come out like that, but has a writer brain. Yes. The kind of brain that will allow them to come up with those storylines and concepts and can keep constantly turning them out. Everybody has that. No matter what your area of specialty is, there's something inside of your brain that just benefits that. Singers. I have an okay voice, but I don't have a singer's mentality. I don't want to sit for hours and hours and hours and hours and work on my voice. I don't want to take vocal lessons or anything like that. I'm only singing for myself. I don't care. But as a writer, I do want to spend hours doing that and keep perfecting my craft, and that kind of stuff. So I guess I'm always afraid that if you don't use it, you lose it.
I 100% agree, man. I 100% agree. And the reason my brain is still working is because I do these interviews and I don't use absolutely no fucking script at all. I just have your name and your project and I'm listening to what you're saying and my brain is thinking of questions. Boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom. And like, it just keeps my brain sharp and fresh. And I'm about to jump into another question. You
All right.
had the great Elaine Dietz from, from The Exorcist.
Yeah.
In the movie, she plays Grandma. Now, when you were writing the script, did you envision her as Grandma?
Yeah. So I got really lucky. I still pinch myself about how things have happened since I started professionally writing. When I moved to California in 2017, I had always known that I wanted to be here, close to Los Angeles, at least to make movies, and I knew I was a good writer. Well, when I moved out here, one of my closest friends lived in Tennessee, close to Nashville, and he said, "I'm giving you a going away gift." So he used to be in the adult film industry. But the thing is, even in the adult film industry, you get to travel a lot. And you get to go to a lot of events, and not just events that have to be centered around the adult film industry. You can go meet other, actors and directors and things like that in Hollywood. And he had met somebody and gotten to know them, found out they were a director and a writer. Anyway, so he had that contact. So when he found out I was going there, he said, "When you get to California, contact Michael Cologne." I said, "Okay." Got out here, and now Michael and I started talking on Facebook, and I didn't jump into the I'm a filmmaker and I'm just trying to get connections. Really, I was like, oh God, I'm a small town Midwesterner now in California. I need friends. And so we struck up a friendship. And I just mentioned, I was like, yeah, my friend Landon told me I should reach out to you. So after about 6 months of just building a friendship with each other, we started writing together. Because then, I realized, he said, yeah, I work in the film industry. And I said, oh, I'm a writer, actually. So that's how kind of Soundbite came about, our first short film. But he also was very interested because I had been working on a feature-length script. And it's called Chuckles. And it's an 80s throwback slasher about a killer in a clown mask. He read that script, and he said it scared him so bad that he wanted me to agree to let him direct it whenever I someday got to have it made. And I was like, yeah, of course, But he also arranged for me to get to hear the script. We couldn't film it at that point, but he assembled a bunch of actors to do a table read so I could hear my script come to life. And one of the actresses who came in was a friend of his, Eileen Deans, from The Exorcist, and I am fangirling. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. She loved that script so much that by the time the table read was done, she pulled me off to the corner and started talking. She was giving me advice about the industry and also wanting my guarantee that if I ever wrote a sequel to it, I would change the fate of her character so that she could be in it, kind of, all of that. And we became friends off of that table read. But she kept asking to be involved in other stuff as Michael and I started to build this horror house entity. And I was like, yeah, but what am I going to put her in? What am I going to put her in? And so when I had the idea for Grandma's Cookies, I was like, I bet you Eileen would do this. So when we got the script finished and Michael was like, yep, love it, I said, we should send it to Eileen. and see if she'd want to do it, because that's who I was thinking of when I created the character. And Eileen read that script and she emailed me back and she goes, "You are disgusting and I love it. Yes, I'll do it." So yeah, so I jokingly say that she's my Hollywood grandma, because that's what it reminds me of. Every time I've seen her at a convention or something like that, she'll take me by the arm and she'll walk me over to meet all of the other people, and she's like, "Have you met Brantley? He's this great new writer. He's got this great script called Chuckles." Yeah.
See, I love how connections are built,
Yeah.
in the horror film world. I mean, it's nothing else like it, man.
No, and it's kind of funny to me because, most people who make movies started out as movie fans.
Mhm.
And those who make horror films started out as horror movie fans. So it's been a very interesting journey meeting all of these people and getting to know these people who I used to watch on movies as just a kid. So one side of me is like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I actually know these people." But then I actually have also started to realize, like, but they're just people. Yeah, I think it's still so cool that they're in these movies that I love and I get to work with them and things like that. But I've actually started to realize, working in the industry, that the people in movies are just people. It's their job. It's what they love to do. Just like I'm a writer, but I'm just a person. We are not defined by what we do, but I still think it's cool we get to do it.
Super cool. Now, Brantley, where can everyone find you and your work, man?
Okay, so I am on social media on Instagram as just Brantley J. Brown. I'm on Facebook as Brantley J. Brown. And I'm also on TikTok. And my handle is writer Brantley J. Brown. So yeah, on TikTok, it's like a mixed bag. Honestly, all my social medias are a mixed bag. I wish I could say that I am really disciplined with what I put on my social media and you're going to find nothing but movie stuff and writing. But no, I kind of just put whatever interests me on that.
Love it. Well, listen, everyone. Go ahead and follow Brantley, and also look out for Grandma's Cookies, and also look out for the full feature length that Brantley is going to be writing soon.
It's going to happen.
Brantley?
It's going to happen.
Right.
That's one of my goals. It is. Yeah. Just, I think that Grandma's Cookies is still doing pretty good in the festival circuit, because I keep getting notified from Michael when it gets accepted into a new film festival every time it happens. So I think it's still going strong there, but I'm hoping that the short film will get released soon. By Christmas, so that everybody can see it. Yeah, that was what I would love. I would love to make it so that everybody could watch it.
Yes. Because
a lot of people have heard us talking about it, but unless you've been lucky enough to be like you, review the film, you've gotten to see it. But most other people, unless they're at those film festivals or horror conventions, things like that, they haven't seen it yet. So this is new territory for me, because we've always been very quick with our short films. Like we record them or film them, and then we release them on YouTube so that everybody can watch it. And this is the first time we've ever held out on a release. So it's like, yeah, people seem to love it, but we haven't yet let the general public, loose on it,
Love it, brother. Listen, more than welcome to come on anytime, man. This is always fun. Listen, I love you, Michael, the whole Grandma Cookies. By the way, Eileen is supposed to be coming on my show eventually. I don't know what date. I haven't looked at my calendar, so I'm excited about that too.
Yeah, I love talking to Eileen. She's a real I'll say interesting character. Because she's one of those that when you think of The Exorcist and the demon from that movie, she was one of those people that I almost expected to be a creepier person. So she's so sweet. She's so sweet, and she's so enthusiastic about the film industry, and I like to see that, because even her, she's older now, than she was. Because what The Exorcist, she was 21 years old, so that was like 40 years ago. But she still got that passion, so it makes for a really interesting conversation. So I think you'll enjoy talking to her.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, and listen, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Horror Rim. Once again, thank you all my subscribers, by the way. I appreciate you guys. It keeps me motivated by subscribing to the channel. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel and hit like and share all that good shit. All right. Thank you for coming to the Horror Rim. I'm Travis Bruce, and that's Brantley Brown. Grandma's Cookies. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye.